So in this video, I wanted to talk about the wiki and the wiki assignments that I had in mind. And I don't think we'll be doing a whole lot of work with wikis, but it's definitely something I wanted you to experiment with and try out and see if it's something you would like to use in your classes. And what I have here is a rhetoric and composition wiki book that I started way back in. Shoot, I don't even remember when I started this. Right after I got to St. Cloud State, I had a class like this one, and this was one of the big projects. And basically, what it is, it's an ebook version of a textbook you might see in an English 191 style class, or a freshman comp is usually what it's called. And as you can see here, there's it's pretty comprehensive. And we went back and I did this again with some other classes, but it's been a while since I've worked with this. And so I thought now that I'm teaching a digital rhetoric and pedagogy class again, it might be a good time to revisit this. So what we'll do at first, I'll just have you look over the site, look at some of these sections, and see if there's something there that you might be able to edit, improve upon, update, or maybe you think it should just be deleted. Who knows, right? There's some inconsistencies in terms of the style and the way that they've organized the page. I mean, this is probably a good 100 different students that worked on this at this point. So it can be a little bit of a mess. But just, click through this, find a section or two that is interesting to you. Maybe thesis statements are your passion. So you can click on this. And main thing is look over, see if you can find any small errors to fix. Or if there's something more substantial you would like to work on, you can certainly do that. But let's just say we wanted to work on this paragraph here, position. I would click edit. And then, let's see, switch to visual editor. Why not? Switch to visual editing. You are switching to visual editing. Do you want to continue? Sure. I haven't actually used this tool before. This is new. That's exciting. Okay, so looks like it's easy enough, just like a word processor. So you just, whatever changes you want to make, go for it. Up here, you can see some of the standard sorts of tools for citing and formatting, bulleted lists, and so on. Looks like that's a little help menu. That's kind of cool. I like that that's built in there. Anyway, once you're done, looks like I have to save. I wonder how I just go back without saving changes. Maybe I just have to click back. But anyway, once you've done that, you'll, I think, be a little bit more familiar with wikis. Another thing the author mentions, Richardson, is this discussion tab. So this might be a good place to start. A lot of there's quite a bit here. You can see these are mostly former students of mine that were talking about changes they would like to see on the page. Usually with Wikipedia especially, I always tell students, or anybody that wants to be a wiki editor, it's nice to get involved in the discussion first. You could come onto a page like this and say, hi, I'm thinking about making some changes to this page. Here's what I'm roughly thinking, A, B, and C. Does anybody have any objections to that, or any pointers or feedback? Objections, I guess. And then you can let that sit for a day, maybe 2 days or so, and then come back and check it. If nobody said anything, then as far as I'm concerned, you can go ahead and do it. You probably won't get any feedback here because there's not a lot of people using this book. But if this were Wikipedia, then you might have a lot of people working on that page. And if they just see some changes, some strangers coming in making changes, they might actually get concerned and just roll it back to a previous version without even bothering. So again, remember, these are communities. You wouldn't want to just barge in and start rearranging the furniture in somebody's house, right? So it's good to introduce yourself first on that discussion page, and then take it from there once you get some feedback. But with the Wikibook, don't worry about it. I don't think there's anybody that's going to mess with you here. And let's see, you can view the history if you would like. This used to be one of Wikibooks' featured books, but I guess they took that down since it's been so long since we've worked on it. But hopefully we might be able to bring it back to featured book status. That would be pretty cool. And there's so much stuff here, I don't think you'll have trouble finding something to talk about. These sections up here might be more better They've been around for longer, so they're probably better organized. So you can see how they're using the section headings there, not just bolding text, right? They're doing it the right way. Got some links there. Now, this is looking pretty good. So what you'll notice is some of these pages are really, really well done, and other ones are, it says this needs to be reviewed for quality. Now, let's see, what do they say? I guess this is just a little generic information about reviewing. Sometimes on the page, there'll be a little flag at the top that'll say something specific about what's wrong with it, at least in somebody's opinion, right? So if you see that, that's always a good way to start. You know you can be helpful. All right, I think that is about all we really need to say about this right now. I think Richardson gave you a pretty good discussion about wikis and various ways different teachers are using it. But I wanted you to see this because this is how I was using it here at St. Cloud State. And you might very well want to do something like this. I like to use the Wikibooks instead of the Wikipedia, again, because there's not as many people here. Although we did have an incident with this. You see this little picture here. One of my students was an artist, and he did a cover for the book. And he had, I think it was a different image to begin with, but it was a big sort of page, loose sheet of loose leaf with some text on and a pen. And somebody that wasn't part of the class came on our Wikibook and took it down, saying that the picture was too big and took too long to load. So he got pretty upset about it, and he's kind of they were kind of flaming in the discussions thing. So we kind of had a conversation about this, and we talked about how you have to negotiate these things, right? You can't just say this is my Wikibook and it's my way or go away. Instead, you have to find compromises. And whoever this was actually a pretty nice person, because what they ended up doing was taking the student's image and putting it in a different format for him so that it wouldn't take so long to load. And you couldn't even tell a difference in the way that it looked. It just was a lot faster. So don't assume it's just vandalism right off the bat, and try to engage in discussions. All right. Anyway, I think that's enough for this. I always love this project. I guess a good way to get started, if you know for sure there's some sections you want to look at, go ahead and jump in there. If you want to talk to me first about it, that's fine as well. But I'm not really picky about this. I just kind of like to get this wiki going again, at least in a small way. So that, we want more recent changes than 2012. Let's put it that way. Anyway, I'll stop here. Let me know if you have any questions about the wikis or want to talk more about it. I could talk about wikis for hours and hours and hours, but you probably don't want to sit there and listen to it. So I'll stop it here, and I look forward to hearing about your experiences here on the Rhetoric and Composition Wikibook.